Welcome everybody to this edition of our Tuning In with Tony. And today we're going to be talking about black. We're going to be talking about the dark energies. Now, just so you know, so it's very clear, Spirit has been putting this particular subject off for quite some time because they don't want you in the dark. They don't want you working with these kind of energies. There's always that hesitation that earthbound energies are more powerful. And to some degree, it's faster. Yes. A lot of times we want something just out of anger. It comes faster than doing the whole 9 yards in some of the things that we do. But Spirit, just so it's clear, they want you in the light. However, humans in general, they are in the dark quite often. In fact, many people live in the dark very frequently. And so Spirit realizes, okay, if humans want to go there, let's at least give them the information that is correct. Or in the eyes of Spirit, you will decide whether it resonates with you or not. Okay, I'm not going to go that far and to say that it is right or it's wrong. It's up to you to determine what feels right and what resonates with you. But in these dark energies, we want to at least give you some information that might help you. And sometimes there is cause for alarm when we are in a dark place and we want to get the heck out of there. Some of you that are energy workers understand dark energies and what it can do and the devastation it could cause. However, that there are times where dark energy is healthy for you. And so we want to make that distinction in this class. You see what is right and what can we do. The first part is dark itself absorbs everything. And this is sort of very bang on with if you want to know how it attracts or it attracts everything, just wear a black t-shirt in the middle of summer. How hot that would be. And then wear a white one, then a blue one, a green one in different colors, and compare the temperatures. And we're just talking about temperature here, nothing about energy, okay? And you will notice that the darker shades will attract more heat. And that's what it does with energy. The dark clothing it just attracts everything. So this is what it is. When you are in an experience that you love, let's say you go to a cottage and you're there by yourself and you're waking up in the morning, you're doing your morning yoga, you watch the sun come up and you're surrounded by this beautiful plants and you've got animals around you and it's a beautiful environment and you want to absorb this, wear black. Okay? Because it absorbs everything. So in this situation, black is good. However, if you're in an environment like a party, cocktail party, or other things, and you wear black in those situations, you're also going to attract everything. But if you don't want to attract everything, but you still choose black anyway, because it makes you look thinner, okay, then you will still attract those things. So that's the best thing to probably take away today, that black absorbs everything. Good, bad, in the middle, doesn't matter. It just absorbs it all, like a big vacuum cleaner. But they also say that of 1/5, for every 5 people, there 1/5 of the people that are going through psychological difficulties and struggles in their lives every day it contributes to the fact that they are wearing darker clothing for an extended period of time. So they'll go outside, they'll go shopping, wear black. They'll go to the beach, wear black. They'll go to visit their family reunion, which will have sometimes some degrees of squabble, or there might be some dynamics there. They'll wear black. They'll wear black all the time. And so those people, 1/5 of them, will have psychological struggles that they are going to go through, because that color, that base color attracts. And that's why today's color is yellow, because the opposite of the dark is, of course, the sun, like being out in the light, right? And so when we bring in that level of yellow, It is that self-empowering color. It is the solar plexus, and it's a fire element. It burns off everything that, black is in. In other words, if you look into a dark corner where it's damp and dark, what do you usually find there? Mold. You'll find all kinds of bugs that like the dark, that kind of thing. But as soon as you open everything up and the sun gets at it, right away, the mold, it doesn't go away, it just stops growing because the mold does not like the light. And it's the same with dark energy. Whenever you shed light, and this is why we say with light workers, when we say shine light to it, because it will stop the growth, and then in time, it will start receding the mold or the growth or whatever is in your body that is accumulating in that time, right? So light naturally will make you feel like if you sit in the sun for any length of time, you'll feel less judgmental. You'll feel less of what is right, what is wrong. You're easier going. Your mood's a little better. Have you noticed that? If it's a beautiful sunny day, people are so happy. They can't wait to get outside, run with the kids and do their thing. But as soon as it's cloudy and it's darker, our moods change. Now that's another, we won't talk about that. We had covered that in another episode where we talked about how the different energies affect you. If it's a good day, you feel good. If it's a bad day, you feel bad. So we don't want our environment, especially the weather, to control our moods because that is a controlling factor. There's nothing wrong with dancing in the rain. I would love to do that. I've done that a few times actually, and it's incredible. Some of the best memories I have of concerts is when the performer is out in this beautiful outdoor arena and there's tens of thousands of people listening to this person's concert. And then the heavens literally open up. It turns dark and it's pouring rain and there's like tens of thousands of people getting wet. And then this lady says, "I'm not going anywhere." And she does her concert in the rain. Like, that is amazing. It was one of the best, when you look at it, it's such a very cool thing. And when we look at the light or the dark, either of those energies needs your invitation. Like when people say it just comes in without a permission, that's not exactly true. It could be very subtle, but if it's just okay with you, like if I came to your door and I said, "Hi, how you doing?" And then you would step aside, you wouldn't even say anything, you would just step aside, gives you and it gives me the indication, oh, I could come in. That's all it needs. All right. So it's sort of an invitation. And that's what that's all about. And it's all about a balance. So whether you get light or dark coming in, you need both, because just look at a piano. If you were to try and play a song just with the white keys or the light keys, it wouldn't be as good as incorporating the darker keys with it. So there's a balance, like the yin and the yang. It's the same. One occupies the other, and one complements the other. The problem we get into, and why spirit is always a little hesitant in getting this information of dark energies, is people sometimes go on their own and they start to experiment with darker energies, and it does work. That's the mind screw. It does work, and it works very quickly because it's earthbound. It's faster. It's like, do you think a child would like olives or escargot or ice cream? The escargot might be sort of an acquired taste over time, but the ice cream is instant. If it's sweet and creamy and cold, they're in. And so that's the difference between darker energies. It's immediate. It's like sugar. But then there's a crash. It gets to a point where you've executed everything you can, and now to get to another level, it comes at a price. But with white light, there is no price. You are worthy without paying a price. You don't have to. Everything is sort of done for you. You have the light within you. And so that's why there's that hesitation. But when it comes right down to it, you need a balance of both. We don't want a lot of dark energy in you because then you become mean, you become angry and more exasperated. And we don't also want too much of the lighter energies either in the mass, because what happens is you'll have all these great ideas. I should open up a center for children and domestic dispute mothers and animals that are abused and all these great ideas, but nothing gets done. It's the darker energies you see that makes it get done. Let's just do this now. But the light energies give you that concept. Look at it this way. Before we came into this body, we were all light. Energy, pure energy, non-physical, pure energy. But the reason we come into this body is because we have the opportunity to have both. And that's where our soul starts to grow, because now we have the difficulties and the light. And how can we bring sort of, if we can use the term, bring heaven to earth, still bring that down and create something amazing? And that's why we come, because we already had light before, but it kind of wasn't enough. We need to get into physical form to incorporate the dark. Is that clear? Okay, so it is that. But it's also that invitation. There's a quote that I read recently, which I thought was very appropriate for this subject. And it said that when a clown moves into a palace, it doesn't become king. The palace becomes a circus. So be careful on who you invite into your heart, into your home, into your body, to have easy access. No matter how much control you have, the clown will destroy all you have built. So where does that clown come from? And they're not saying it's a certain type of dark energy, it's the amount of dark energy. Okay, just so we're clear. So again, it's all about balance here. So when we have too much of the darker energies in, then it becomes like this clown, and it kind of starts to play with you, and it depends who you listen to at that point. Now, one person would say, well, look, how can we sort of look at this and create movement? And why is there so much hesitation in our world because of these dark energies? Well, there's a thing called, and I looked it up the other day, and the closest one I could find that applies to this is called the region beta paradox. And the way it works is this. If you're in a job, okay, let's back up a little bit. Let's say you have to go 1 kilometer. In ours, for the people in the States, that would be about 2/3 of a mile. Okay, we're going to have to go 1 kilometer. There's a good chance that you might walk it. By the time you get the car started and go there, it's only 1 kilometer. I'll walk it. But if you have to go 3 kilometers, which is almost 2 miles, or almost 2 miles, over 2 miles, then there's a good chance you're going to take your car. So you jump in the car and you'll go 3 kilometers. So in that comparison, it is faster to go 3 kilometers than it is to go 1. Make sense? Because we're using a different medium to get there. We're walking on the 1 and we're taking a car on the 3. And where that comes in is because when we make the change, we get things done faster. Now, the problem is when we're in the middle. One example is a job. Let's say you're in a job that you don't really like, but you're there because it's okay. The boss is okay, the pay is good, the benefits are good, nobody really hassles you, but you don't like it, and you could stay there for 20 years. No big deal. You think it's sort of okay. There's no movement because it's not really motivating you. It's not fantastic, but it's sort of, you're in that complacent one. Same goes for a relationship. If you're in a relationship that you don't really want to be in, there's not much love, but the person doesn't hassle you, they cook all your meals, and let's say you're okay with it, and you could be there for 20 years. Don't be surprised that if you pray for a better job or a better relationship, that it doesn't get worse. Because what happens is, in both of those examples, it would be better for you if it was worse. Think about it. If you're in a complacent area where you're not really in a dark space, you're just in sort of a gray, let's get this gray space, okay? Then you kind of stay there because it's comfy. They call it comfortably numb. You're just there. You're okay with it. But if it's worse, you're going to say, oh, no way. Screw this. I'm going to go get another job. This person's, really hassling me in my relationship. Every time I come home, I get all this drama. I'm out of here. And on that weekend, you're gone. You see? So spirit doesn't send you dark energies, and I don't want to, give you that impression. However, they will back up a little bit so there's less light. But they're still on you, but they want the situation to get worse because then it'll be better for you. Does that make sense? That's the paradox we're talking about. So in these dark energies, there's different ways that they could give shades of light that will either improve your life or make it so that you will improve it yourself. So when sometimes people will come to us and, they want to get a better job. And as soon as we send out that intention, like usually within 7 days, things get so much worse. In one situation, this was years ago, where the boss actually got promoted and another boss came in. All of a sudden, this cushy job that was okay, the boss was micromanaging them, giving them all kinds of goals, giving them homework on the weekends, and you're on call 24/7. It's like, no way, I'm gone. And within a week, he was just, I'm gone, right? So to apply this, things have to get worse. Does that make sense? So it's out of love that spirit is stepping back and giving you less light so that shadier energy can come in and actually make your situation a little worse, okay? So it is that, and that does happen, all right? So let's talk about some of the different, when we talk about dark energies, what exactly is that? Okay, we're going to give you a list because just for those that aren't familiar with what the dark energies entail. When you have a light energy, of course, it's easy. When you're happy, you're enthusiastic, you're over the top joyful, you're prosperous, everything is good there. When you start getting in, and when we say dark energies, keep in mind that these aren't all just like dark, like black, okay? They're like shades, all right? The different shades would be like you look at the difference between violence, greed, vengeance, spite, jealousy, contempt, frustration. See, frustration is not going to be as dark as the violence, okay? So it's a shade. Fear, guilt, resentment, hopelessness. Hopelessness is one of the darkest because there's no light coming in once you've given up. It means, okay, take me, in other words, that kind of thing, all right? And anger. One of the things that Spirit sees quite often is when someone's angry, somebody will step in and say, no, calm down, just relax. It's impossible. You can't go from a dark energy of anger, which is an outward, I want to sort of grab your hair and pull it sort of kind of energy, to let's get calm and serene and we'll, sing by the campfire sort of thing. It's too much of a leap. So calm is not part of that equation because there's a few steps we have to do before the calm comes in. The first step is to be authoritative. In other words, you talk to this energy, and in a couple of our classes, we have worked on talking to an energy. So if you have energy of anger inside of you, it's not that you're angry, you have an angry energy inside of you. You feel that, and it's bubbling up, and it's hitting something that means something to you. And it hurts, and you're angry, okay? But you don't know where this anger is coming from. And so when we connect to that anger, we talk to it. What's going on, buddy? What's going on? Why are you angry? In other words, when we go into those energies. So this is where we want to be authoritative. We want to say, okay, I want you to stop this anger. Tell me what's going on. Where is this coming from? How many lifetimes have we been angry? Or have you been angry and now you're kind of poking at me? Because you were poking at my last life and the life before that and the life before that. So it's not you particularly in this body right now. This energy has been poking all of your bodies. So it's not you personally. So talk to that energy. What's going on? How come you're bothering us? All right. I'm trying to make it light in this way because it is a form of communication. So the first thing is being authoritative, demanding what the answer is. The second is identity. From an energetic perspective, what is your identity? This comes right in line with what we call spiritual reputation. And a spiritual reputation is anything that you have done, light and dark knows about it. It's almost like an identity badge. As soon as they see you, okay, you've never addressed anything. You've always been complacent. You always let other people do all the work. You never speak up. You never stand up for yourself. Okay, now, because they can identify you and they kind of got you. That's your reputation, but your reputation, like anything else, can be changed. And the moment you say, okay, I want you to sit down and tell me what's going on. Why are you angry? Because I know I'm not angry. This is your problem. What's going on? And so as soon as you do that once, and the anger tells you how long it's been like this, and all right, now I want you to send love to all those people that you've been hurting all of these lifetimes, and then you'll feel that. And as soon as you do that, both the light and the dark sees it. And now you have a new spiritual reputation. Does that make sense? So anything you've ever done, this is where you can start to really play with these energies because you are always in charge. Spirit will tell you you're in charge, but the dark energies will want you to believe they are in charge. You have to listen to them. They tell you what to do. The next one is boundaries, setting boundaries. How many people are awoken between the hours of 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. at times? Because this is the thinnest veil in our energies. Our body is at a very slow state. All of our faculties and our body shuts down. Our breathing slows down. Heart slows down. The mind just keeps going like crazy all the time, as it always does. But all of your bodily functions start to slow down because you're not in alert mode. You're not, because you're in sleep mode. You're in REM sleep, and it's a deep sleep where everything shuts down. Also, the EMFs in the house is far less at night than it is in the daytime. Your phone is probably not right on you or in your pocket. All right, it's probably either on your nightstand or, better yet, on a dresser about 10 feet away. That's what Spirit is recommending, not to have your phone right 2 feet from your head. All right, keep that phone away from you because the EMFs are very strong and it disrupts your sleep. But if it's that far away, then Spirit can usually come in and they'll say, we need to talk. Okay, and then when you wake up, it says, okay, we need to set some boundaries. And the boundaries is you can't wake me up at 2, 3, and 4 in the morning. And I get it that there's messages, but let's set up a system where I can sort of check my emails, if I can use those terms. What would your computer be like if you opened up your computer, you checked your email, and there's over 21,000 emails you have not read? Okay? And so there's an urgency to read them. Yes, some will be very important, some won't be that, and then most of them will be junk. But in that same ratio is the same with our energy. Some things are important and some aren't. But you have to connect to that in some way in your quiet time. That's why either meditate or just sit quietly and look at the birds outside. And then just say, do you have any messages for me? What's new? What do I need to know? When you say that often, all of a sudden, you'll start to get messages because that is when they download those sort of energetic emails, if I can use that term. Once we set the boundaries, it is then our responsibility to accept the responsibility of whatever that was angering us. In other words, it was unjust. It's not fair that we were caught in this. Whatever the trauma was, right, it wasn't fair, but I'm going to take responsibility anyway, because when I take responsibility for that, I'm going to say to myself, I'm not going to be a victim in this trauma, in this whatever happened that was traumatic for me, but I'm going to say that I was involved. I was involved in an accident. I wasn't a victim of that accident. Do you feel the difference? If you are feeling you're a victim, like the whole world is against you, it's a little different energy, isn't it, than when you say I was involved. I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Does that feel different? And so that's the way I want you to look at this, because of course it's unjust. I've never seen an accident that was absolutely justified that you deserved it. It doesn't work like that. Things just happen. But how we take from it is a big thing. And how we go further is that bigger end of it. Okay, let's see how much more. Get quite a bit here. Okay. All right, so that's pretty fair. It's that we look at those energies and those dark energies like that. The other thing that Spirit wants you to know about dark energies, do not push dark energies away. In other words, when you don't want to address something, we sort of push that aside. Okay, try not to do that, because they push back. They are very intelligent, in that way, and they don't like to get pushed, just like people sometimes don't like to get pushed around. All right. I want to touch on what we call caregiver's draw, because there is some shades of dark energy there. And what I mean by that, if you take, let's say, a loved one that's going through some physical challenges, whether it's a mother or a father that's in their, advanced in their years and they can't get around, and it's the children that are now taking care of them, and they're there all the time. They're there 24/7. And there's always, they're taking care of their loved ones. What happens after a while is they see that their loved ones are suffering, and they see that they're really struggling with things. Energetically, what they do is they pull that dark energy out of their loved one and take it on themselves. Now, they don't know they're doing this, but because of love and because of compassion, they feel that I wish I could just take this out. And that's all that energy needs, and that dark energy comes and goes inside of you. The thing is that it does work. They start to see their loved ones improving health. They walking a little better. They're starting to eat a little better. It says, oh, so inside your mind and your energies are sort of recalibrating. Oh, this is working. And then in a few days later, they start to dive again. Their health starts to go diminished, and then they go through the process again where they pull that dark energy like a hypodermic needle out and they take it in. Okay. Now, again, they'll start to see improvements, and this goes on for several months and maybe years, depending on how it goes. And statistics even show that when the loved one, let's say, eventually passes on, the caregiver usually passes within 3 months. Because now there's so much dark energy in that person, they don't know what to do with it. And then they take on an illness that they can't really get out of. All right. So Spirit wants to give you an alternative to do that. Rather than pulling dark energy out, send light inside of your loved one. It will take a little longer. Yes, you're right. I know the questions that many of you are asking. Well, how long does that take? It will take longer. As I said, sugar is different than escargot, right? So when you work with light, things will take a little longer. You won't see the benefits right away. But when you take the light of your heart and you send that like a laser beam to the loved one's heart, and you send it with love, and you do that, usually within 2 to 3 weeks, you'll start to see very small benefits, very small changes. And it's almost unnoticeable. That's why you have to create a journal as to, okay, well, they couldn't walk up the stairs, they couldn't get out of bed, they couldn't, and have a journal of what they cannot do, because as soon as they start doing it, okay, there it is. But if you just keep it all in your head, you won't notice it, you will miss it. And then you'll have the impression that it's not working, and then you'll go back to drawing it out, because then you'll see instant results. So that's one technique how we can use dark energies for our loved ones, not to pull and take it in, to send light and let your loved one deal with the lighter energies inside. Right? Now, a trained energy worker sometimes will pull energy, and I've done it myself on occasion where it was a 911 or it was like a suicidal case or something. I will actually pull energy out and take it in, because I know how to deal with it. Because instead of putting that dark energy in, I hug that energy and love it. And I said, you're with me. We are stuck together. And I want to bring you to this beautiful light. And I'm chasing it because it doesn't like the light. All right. But the person that's not trained will just get scared, and they'll think that there's something going on, and they have a harder time with it. But conditioned light workers will know how to work with dark energies, and that's why Spirit always doesn't want to say it to the person that's relatively new to energy, because they'll end up using too much of it, and it's might be overwhelming. But if you are running into that, definitely let me know, and we can always work with it that way. All right. So in this, let's move on to chasing a dream. Now, a lot of the things that you see on social media, coaches, teachers, they all say, chase your dream. You have something that you want, then go in a certain direction, and then you write down your goals, and then you start advancing towards your dream, okay? And what Spirit is saying is sometimes, where are you going in that? In other words, you should always check with Spirit to make sure you're kind of on the right track. Because if your goal is to, let's say, get out of your hometown and to build skyscrapers and be a huge builder and build bridges and so on, but your destiny has to be to take the little town you were in and bring more love and make it bigger. But your physical mind will say, well, this is such a small goal to take this little town of 500 people and make it bigger. Like I want to change cities, right? And so always know that the universe always has a flow, and it's absolute, never wrong. We've heard this. However, if you want to take the helm and you say, I want to do this, you then become the flow. And the universe says, it's all yours. In other words, they'll let you drive this bus. No, you drive it for as long as you can. When you're realizing you're going in the wrong direction, then there's that whole step of coming back, resetting yourself, and finding out, okay, what do I really need to do in this life? Because everything that goes against your destiny will be an obstacle. It's only when you're on target that everything seems to be so easy. If you've seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life, that's a great example where, the Baileys, George Bailey wanted to get out of town, and he wanted to build all these things, but he had to stay in town. And as soon as he accepted that, everything flowed. It was just, then it was so much easier. But you're really becoming away from your flow when you do it yourself, when you think you know what you're doing. And that is the whole essence, is because when we have to follow Spirit, they got this bus. That means you are in the dark. Does that make sense? You have to surrender, because you don't know where you're going and you don't know how you're going to get there. So you're, in our view, and we hear this a lot. Yeah, I was in the dark about that. You didn't tell me about that. I was in the dark. And we don't want to be in the dark because it's fearful. It's scary. We were always told as children that the dark is scary. We need to get away from the dark. But this is precisely what needs to happen, to surrender and just to say, I trust. I have faith. And being in the dark for a short time is healthy because it gives you that time to say, okay, I'm going to recalibrate. And whenever I'm supposed to do, I'm just going to follow my heart, follow all these things. You don't have to see your destination before you make your first step. In our city of Ottawa, Toronto is about a 4-hour drive. And there's no way that I could see Toronto from where I am. But I know if I leave in the dark, I'm going to see about 200 yards ahead of me. And I'll do that hundreds and hundreds or thousands of times before I get to Toronto. So it's the faith that I know I'm on the right road. I'm going in that direction, and I just see it 200 yards at a time. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the unknown. But a lot of people aren't. Right? You got to know everything. And that's the issue. You kind of have to be okay with being in the dark a little bit. But it's healthy in this way. It's not that there's dark energies in there. It's just that you don't have to know everything. Okay? In the dark, light exists as well. You can still be in the dark and activate your light. The light is with you all the time. You just seem to need to activate it. And that's all there is to it. And then away that you go. Now, here's the thing. When we decide that we have a trauma or something goes on, whether we got insulted at work or whether we got bullied at school or whatever happens, there's a point there that we get hurt. And so sometimes we will cocoon ourselves into our private rooms, and in the energy, we're kind of in the dark, aren't we? We don't want to see people. We don't want to do anything. We just want to be able to have people leave us alone, and we're in that private place. That is okay. What Spirit is more saying is don't stay in the dark for too long. Because it is that length of time, the longer you're in there, and then people will start to ask, well, how long do I know I could stay in that dark and it's still healthy for me that I can come out? And the answer to that is, as long as the darkness is uncomfortable. As soon as the darkness becomes comfortable, that's your first sign you got to get the heck out of there. It's too much. As soon as your kids want to wear dark clothes all the time, or if you know somebody who wants to wear dark clothes all the time, their walls are dark and their shades are always drawn and they're in the dark all the time, and that's normal for them, then yeah, that's a thing. All right, that's an issue. One of the things we also have to realize is that we have darkness around us that are also healthy in the evening. I mean, if you look at the moon. One of the meditations we're going to play today is a moon energy. And you might want to write this one down. In a new moon, where it's dark moon, where there's no real moon, light doesn't reflect it, it's a new moon. This is the time where your cycles and your intuition and all of that will start to reset. This is where you want to set intentions, create goals. This is where you want to organize yourself, clean your house, organize your energy, clear your energy, change your sheets. It's a time of clearing. It's a time of keeping people away from you, burning incense, using essential oils. It's a time of rejuvenation. Okay. So when there's a new moon, I think the next one is in a couple of weeks or something, but when there's a new moon, that's when you want to just do all the things you need to do to get yourself ready. A full moon, when the full moon comes out, that's activation. That's when you want to start your deals. That's when you want to launch your business. That's when you want to do any activation whatsoever. Moving forward, that's when you want to say, okay, on the next full moon, that's when I'm going to propose to my wife, or I want my husband, or we're going to set the date for our wedding on a full moon, because that starts our new life. That's very healthy. You want to do any events near a full moon as much as possible. Okay. Getting your second wind. This is, the time before that, you might have been beaten down by long hours or a lot of stress. And as soon as you get into a new moon, you regenerate and you rejuvenate. And as soon as that full moon comes up, that's when you get your sort of your second wind and you go again. So when you have cycles that you are working with the natural cycles that's been around here for millions of years, these cycles have been around longer than we have been on this earth. And it works because the moon works on tides. It makes the water go up and, the tides, and they've been doing that for millions of years. So to incorporate your cycle in with the cycle of the energies around you are very healthy. But some people will launch their business on a new moon. I says, what are you doing? It's like, oh no, it's just like, not many people came. I says, yeah, okay. But that's when you want to do it. Okay, so just a little tidbit there. Okay, we're going to get into the meditation very close. That's why there's so much information here. I wanted to cover the highest points and then kind of go from there. In the meditation today, it is about the vibration of the moon. It's 210.43 hertz, which is vibrations per second. It's a beautiful low energy. And actually, women really start commenting that if you're going through your period in some way, and you have cramps, the cramps actually start to dissipate in this meditation. All right, it is that powerful, and that sound is that powerful. So, and it's all about cycles of success, cycles of how things go. You have good days, bad days, and so if you have a good day, don't say, "Yay, we have a good day," and if it's a bad day, "Oh, we had a crappy day today." You don't want to do that. It's a cycle. So when I say to you, we're going to inhale and exhale, that's normal. But if I say, yes, inhale, then exhale. I want you to inhale 3 times and exhale once. How is that even possible? In other words, there's a balance of any kind of a cycle. Whatever is drawn is also drawn out, right? Drawn in, drawn out. There are certain emotions of energy, of dark energies, that you have throughout your body. And in this meditation, I want you to breathe the color yellow in, and we're going to go to a certain body part that is associated with some of the things that are going on in your life. So I'll read you a few and see if any applies to you, okay? The first thing is if you're an angry person, all right? And have short fused. I mean, the kids would just spill a little bit of milk and you'd go ballistic. Or if you're just have such a short fuse and you're angry all the time, or someone who's angry, their gallbladder and their liver will take on most of that energy. Okay, so if that person is an angry person, when you inhale yellow, go and visualize going into that energy, scooping up these darker energies in your gallbladder and your liver, and in your exhale, blow them out. And you do that a few times, okay? Throughout the meditation, you do that. Resentment is also in your gallbladder. Fear is in your kidneys. So if you're a fearful person, oh, honey, the furnace might blow up, or what if the kids don't come home off the bus? You're always fearful of things that never always happen. You're just in that fearful state all the time. Then your kidneys are going to suffer. Letting go. If you have a hard time letting go of stuff, like if you still have your grade 3 notes and you don't want to throw them away, you can't let go of those things. That's also in your gallbladder. Amazing how important that gallbladder is, eh? Shame of your surroundings. So if somebody came in, like off the, they come in as a surprise, and let's say your house isn't perfectly 100% clean, you have that shame energy. Oh, I don't want anybody to see my house. I don't want anybody to see how I look, okay? That is usually will be in your kidneys as well. Shame is in your kidneys. And the shame is also in your spleen and your pancreas. If you have shame that you are perhaps not a good mother or not a good father, or I have shame. Yeah, all the other kids are going to, let's say, band practice or going to camp or something, but I didn't send mine. So I have shame that I didn't send my kids to camp. Not that that's a big deal, but if your perception is it is a big deal, you feel shame, then that would be in your pancreas and your spleen, okay? If you have a lot of guilt or shock, that would be in your heart. If you feel guilty all the time, if someone else does something wrong and you feel you have to apologize, as I have friends that have that. If someone else does something wrong, oh, I'm so sorry. I should have called you. Maybe it was my fault that I didn't warn you about that door that when you open it, the door handle falls off or something. All right, then that guilt is in your heart. Grief is in your lungs. If you feel grief all the time. Now let's dissect this just a little bit. If you feel grief because you just lost a loved one, or if you just lost a pet or something, that's different because that's short term. However, if you're still grieving after 12 years, okay, yeah, that would be in your lungs. All right, that energy is in your lungs. You have grief for too long and it's not addressed, then you will see that grief in an x-ray, okay, sort of thing. So you want to be able to breathe that in. If it's grief, go into your lungs, scoop out whatever is there, and then blow it out. And that's what you're seeing. You're going into your lungs and taking out that grief energy, okay? Worry is in your stomach. You're a worrier, you're worried about the stove not working, or if you're worried that you don't have enough money for the mortgage at the end of the month, or you're worried about whatever it is. We have people that worry all the time. That would be in their stomach. And sometimes we feel that. Yeah, I feel so worried. I'm getting sick to my stomach. I mean, it's in our vocabulary. So again, you go into your stomach, you take out that worry energy, and you blow that out. And stress, overall stress. We're not just talking about stress that's short term, like, if you lose control of your car for a second and, whoo, that was close, and you didn't have an accident. But this is more stress than long term, where it's stress day in, day out, week in, week out for years. That kind of overall stress. You're just stressed about everything. That's in your heart and your brain. And when you're doing it in your brain, as you're in, you might have to alternate. So the first time you inhale yellow, go into your brain and scoop out anything that is stress and then blow it out. And some people will actually see black coming out of their mouth. Like those of you that are connected, you'll see that. And if you're not, it's okay. Just realize that when you see that, bring the sun in and breathe that out. Then you go to your heart, scoop out any of that stress and breathe it out. And so you alternate for that 10, however long we're going to do. We're going to do it for maybe 10 minutes today. Okay, so choose a body part. I want you to pretend you're in a desert, or pretend you're on the beach, cottage by the lake, on top of a mountain, just someplace you're in the sun. I want you in the sun, okay? And so choose a body part that you feel is applicable to some of the emotional things you're going through. And let's see where we are. We're going to do maybe 10.
Tony,
Yeah.
what is left breast?
The left breast is heart. That would be stress. Okay, but if you're feeling it is in your chest, that could be lungs. So if you're not quite sure, what I would do is when you breathe in, do one with your heart and then blow it out, and then one with your lungs and then blow it out. If you're feeling it is on the left side, and that's great that you're feeling that, that's where you want to focus it, because there's a heavy energy on there and you want to be able to clear that out, clear that dark energy out. Take a deep breath, just to get a few moments, get yourself comfortable. And we're going to do maybe about 10, 12 minutes in this moon energy. Okay, enjoy. Take your time. Slowly come out of the state that you're in. Try and remember what you felt, what you experienced, and as you were taking out some of this energy, were you feeling other body parts twitching, or a shiver down your back, or one side of your body is colder than the other? Just the different reactions your body goes through when you start doing the real work of taking out energies that are slowing you down. Take another nice deep breath of yellow and fill your entire body with this beautiful canary yellow, sunshine powered energy, and clear everything out in your next exhale. And just see your body just coming down, and breathe out every breath until there's no breath left in your lungs. Take another deep breath. And ask your body if it has a message for you. Sometimes it will give you something. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. So how was this moon energy to you guys? How was it? Did you feel anything?
Revealing.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Very revealing.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like there were hidden things that were addressed. And I am grateful. Thank you, Tony.
Mm-hmm. You know the song, I forget the group that sings it. I think it's Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon. All right. That came from a part of his life. He was in a dark place and he found something. Just the way you said it there, Patricia, there was something hidden that revealed itself. And he wrote a song right after it. So when you get the energy to reveal itself, that's healing. That's the healing. Sometimes we want to get right in and heal ourselves, but you just let the energy heal itself, and you're in there. We sometimes overthink the healing. We have to do so much, and sometimes it's just a little thing. And he says, "How come it took me 3 years to figure out it's just doing this little thing?" But it's all different for everyone. It's not, we can't apply that to everybody because everyone has a different hidden part, right? And you have to find out yourself. But this is a technique that you could use in it. I want to read you something that I picked up just this morning, and it said, real strength has to be internal. If outside changes occur and leads to your disappointment because you either lost or you won, it means you've actually lost because you're being too connected to the reality of this world where the darkness will ultimately control you. But if you are well grounded in your inner world and your outer world, then you see the light and the darkness is powerless. The world around you is unreliable, as people are, and people are changing all the time, but the truth never changes. So whenever you're in darkness, at the time of temporary darkness, seek the truth or ask for it, and at least small bits of it will reveal itself before you re-enter the light. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us the most. We're not scared of the dark. We're more scared of how bright we really are. We wouldn't know what to do with it. I thought that would add that. And it was interesting because as I was making notes, I was using this pen. It's a dark pen, And at the very beginning, I was making a note on how the dark enters the body. And at the word enter, I ran out of ink. I didn't get it right away. I threw it in the garbage. It says, it's ran out of ink. That's crazy. And then the Spirit says, wait a second, there's a lesson here. And I said, what word did it run out of? I says, enter. It says, that's because in your body, dark energy is limited. And it ran out of ink right when I hit enter. So I had to use my other pen. It's just, I only have white and dark pens. I usually have colored ones. I couldn't find it today. And it kept going. So it just was, again, a reiteration of everything. But it was interesting because yesterday I was listening to a podcast. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks's channelings. Okay, if you haven't heard of it, look into it. They've got hundreds of hours of books and e-books, and in their day they did CDs. They've been around for over 20 years. It was normally Jerry Hicks and Esther Hicks, and Jerry was always a person that wanted to ask questions, and met this lady, Esther, and she channels spirit, and she does an amazing job. I've seen channelings, but Esther is very proficient at it. Over the years, she's really sort of gotten into the ease of it, and it's a very loving energy that she channels. And I was listening to this last night on my way home, because I usually when I'm driving, I like to listen to something that's going to be enhancing. And right after that podcast, a message came on. I was on Spotify, and it said that this program might have misinformation and disinformation. And so to find out more, go to Canada or Government of Canada information policies. Misinformation from spirit. Wow, how dark can you get? So I had to laugh my head off when I heard that. But whenever there is the truth, it doesn't yell that it's the truth. It's always the misinformation that's saying, no, it's the truth, and you need to look at it elsewhere. But it was just interesting the way I was listening to that, and then that came on. I've never heard that before, actually, so it was interesting when it came in. But there's all these evidence around you of what to listen to, who to listen to, what resonates with you. And again, Spirit wants to resonate, not even to listen to me. Whatever words that Spirit channels through me, you need to have it go through your editing department if it actually resonates with you, because that's the ultimate thing. No matter who says whatever the truth is, it always should go through you. And if it, yeah, that feels right, and then you take it in. All right, that's really what the overall lesson is. That's where we're going to become really empowered in this day and age. So it's going to be a changing world in the next couple of years for sure, and we just need to keep focused on what it is that where our energies are, so we're not involved in too much connection of the dark. We need to connect to it, but not too much. And so there's that balance. There's always that balance, and then you are a collected person. That's a part of that yin yang, and it's all about the piano. And just look at all the light and dark on there to make a perfect song. Okay, I hope this was good for you. I had a lot more material, but I just, it was just so much in the end. I said, Spirit, there's only so much that you could say in an hour and go through this, but I hope this was enlightening for you. I hope you learned something. I hope you did some level of healing, and we'll see you again next week. Okay.
Amazing session. Thank you.
Drive carefully. You mean so much to us. Okay. We need you guys, and love you all. Okay.
Thanks, Tony. That was amazing.
Tony.
Thank you.
Love
Thank
you.
you, Tony.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Tony.
Love you.
Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Bye.
Love you.
Have a nice weekend, Tony.
You too. Yeah. Bye.